skill, class, elegance. Roger Federer has it all, and yet none of these things fully describe the Swiss legend. So what really makes Federer special? So special that a popular novelist called his game a religious experience. You see, legends in the world of tennis are as rare as sharks in sunglasses, and among them is a name that instantly stands out: Roger Federer. Born on August 8, 1981, in Basel, Switzerland, to a South African immigrant mother and a Swiss-German father, Roger Federer always knew he wanted to play sports, even from a very young age. But surprisingly, Federer's first love wasn't even tennis, it was soccer. Now, if you know anything about Swiss people, it's that they love soccer like kids and candy, and for Federer, it was no different. But the thing is, no matter how much Federer loved the game of soccer, it just never felt right playing it. Then, in a life-changing moment, 8-year-old Federer picked up a tennis racket, and that, my friends, was when he knew that he'd found the love of his life. And while everyone else in the family enjoyed playing tennis, it was Federer who played the game with such ease and elegance that his parents were instantly convinced they had a world beater in their hands. Under the guidance of former Australian player Peter Carter, Federer kicked off his tennis career. And by the time he clocked 11, he was already among the top 3 junior tennis players in Switzerland. Now, being one of the top 3 junior tennis players in your country would be a big deal for anyone. But Federer wasn't fazed or even satisfied. He wanted to be the best, and to do that, Roger left his family to live and train at the National Training Center of the Swiss Federation, where he would spend the next couple of years working tirelessly to hone and seek new ways to improve his skill. Federer's decision to leave home would later pay off, because as soon as he turned 14, the young Swiss sensation announced himself to his whole country by winning the National Junior Championship, which is like winning an Oscar for the best junior tennis player in Switzerland. In 1998, Federer took another step in his long journey of greatness when he won the Junior Wimbledon title and the Orange Bowl. By the end of that year, Federer wasn't just the best young player in Switzerland, but the best young player in the whole world, as the young Swiss maestro was awarded the ITF World Junior Tennis Champion of the Year. Now, you'd expect Federer's success as a junior player to set a strong foundation for his senior career. But the thing is, the transition from the juniors to the pros can be very challenging, and Federer was about to find out. The making of a legend. You see, throughout his junior career, Federer had been head and shoulders above most of his peers, but replicating that success on the professional scene required time and experience. Federer played his first professional match against Lucas Arnold in 1998, but it ended in defeat. And it wasn't until later that year that the Swiss player won his first ATP match in Toulouse. After a couple of more losses, Federer eventually began to find his feet when he won the Hopman Cup and defeated Julien Bauer at the Milan Indoor Tournament in 2001. But none of these wins came close to his performance at the 4th round of the 2001 Wimbledon, when 20-year-old Federer shocked the whole world and defeated reigning champion and tennis legend Pete Sampras. Following his incredible display against Pete Sampras, Federer continued to get better and better with each game. And in 2002, the Swiss player finished the year as the 6th best player in the world. This insane achievement ended up laying the foundation for his breakout year in 2003, when Federer showed the tennis world his true potential. That year, the Swiss player made it to 9 finals in the ATP Tour, winning 7 of them. But Federer was just getting started. The Swiss maestro started the following year ranked number 2 in the world, but come the end of the year, Federer would win the US Open, the Australian Open, defended his Wimbledon title, and secured himself the top spot in the world rankings. Federer was on fire, scorching through every competition like a tennis tornado. In fact, Federer was so good that he won 11 of the 15 tournaments he participated in that year. On top of that impressive feat, Federer also held on to a record of 24 consecutive finals won between July 2003 and November 2005. Now, if that doesn't scream legend, I don't know what else would. Despite breezing past his opponents the previous year like a Bugatti with rockets, Federer started the following year on a bad term, as the Swiss player lost 2 Grand Slam titles. But Federer proved it was nothing but a tiny blip on the way, as he'd go on to later make an incredible comeback that year by winning Wimbledon and the US Open. The following year, Federer obliterated everyone and everything in his way, better than Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. Between 2006 and 2007, the Swiss sensation made 7 out of 8 Grand Slam finals, winning all of them. From then on, Roger continued to dominate the game, even with the rise of talents like Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. We're talking about 20 Grand Slam titles, a record of 8 Wimbledon titles, 6 Australian Open titles, 5 US Open titles, 1 French Open title, and 103 ATP singles titles. During his reign of terror, Federer spent 310 weeks at the #1 spot in the world. But even more astonishing is when you consider that between February 2, 2004 and August 18, 2008, nobody knocked Federer off the top. That's 236 straight weeks and over 5 years of complete dominance. But why was Federer so dominant? What makes a legend? Becoming the greatest of all time isn't something that happens overnight. It takes hard work and a lot of talent. The thing is, Federer wasn't a workaholic like his arch-rival Rafael Nadal. Neither did he possess the explosiveness of Boris Becker. But if we're being completely honest, in terms of court movement, footwork, and game intelligence, not many people even come close to Roger Federer. Now, having great footwork is an ability that's synonymous with sporting greats. But what really separates professional tennis players from regular players like you and I isn't just how quickly or how fast they hit the ball, but rather how quickly they recover and then set up before receiving the ball. And when it comes to preparation on the move, Federer is the GOAT. This, of course, was partly aided by his incredibly fast and light-footed step, which was not only crucial to his balancing, but also allowed him to take off on either foot at will, which then gave him enough time to prepare to hit the ground stroke. Federer is also right up there with some of the best servers of all time. This guy's forehand is like the angel of death, riding the most beautiful and most elegant horse. That is how beautiful and deadly his shots are. Add that to his volleying skills and his ability to play serve and volley, and you have an all-court genius who can thrive in almost any playing condition. Unlike other players, Federer didn't just hit the ball where he wanted. He made his opponents hit the ball that he wanted them to. And by that, he gave himself just enough time to prepare and keep the returner guessing. I don't know about you, but that's what you call the hallmark of greatness. Another thing that made Federer really special was his match management and his ability to keep calm under pressure. Now, we all know how intense the game of tennis can be. We've seen players walk out of the tournament, go after their own fans, and throw punches. But no matter how heated things got for Federer, he always kept his emotions in check. I mean, this guy even made his arch-rival best friends with him. There were even whispers that Federer never even broke a sweat on the court. That was just how cool Federer was. But one thing you might not know is that this wasn't always the case. Before Federer made calmness his trademark, the cool-headed Swiss maestro had a hot temper when he was still a novice, and was even very difficult to train. Federer would smash his rackets and curse whenever nerves started to kick in, or whenever decisions went the opposite way. But the Swiss legend later realized his mistakes and worked hard to contain his emotions, which he accomplished by seeing a psychologist and practicing to stay cool in every situation. Not only did he achieve a more level-headedness, but Federer transformed into a cold beast on the court. Federer often claims to be tired after every match, but he would never make his opponents see it. Imagine playing with someone who didn't change their expression for 3 hours straight. Even when Federer lost a punishing rally, he never bent over or looked out of breath. Neither did he hang his head in disappointment. It was almost as if he'd enter a beast mode and remain in that headspace no matter if he was winning or losing. But if there was anything greater than his cool demeanor or his footwork, it was Federer's forehand. Federer's forehand is a perfect blend of power, movement, and precise accuracy like a viper's strike. I mean, it's not every day you have a forehand that's regarded as the best forehand in history. But what really sets Federer's forehand apart from everyone else's was his grip. His grip was a little more open than most tennis players, and it wasn't as extreme as Nadal's grip or Djokovic's. This allowed the Swiss sensation to hit his shot pretty much inverted, creating a deadly topspin half-volley forehand from the baseline. Combine this with excellent footwork that would make any ballet dancer jealous, and it's not difficult to see why Federer dominated the men's tennis game like it was his family's business. And the best part of all of this was that he always executed it with such ease and elegance that John McEnroe, a man who owns an art gallery and was once called an artist on the court himself, had to say this about Federer. Roger Federer is the most beautiful player I've ever seen on a tennis court, without question. Tennis is one of the biggest sports in the world, and it has produced stars like Djokovic, Serena Williams, Andre Agassi, and Rafael Nadal. And yet, none of these players have had the kind of impact that Roger Federer has had on tennis. Federer was the only player with the perfect mix of athleticism, artistry, and personality. He never got involved in any controversy, and even when he left Nike, Federer didn't stir up one bit of controversy. But what if I told you that leaving Nike was the best decision in Federer's life? If you want to find out more about that, click on the video showing up at the very end, or find the link below. So there you have it, guys. What part of Federer's game made you fall in love with him? Let us know down in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to learn more interesting things about your favorite tennis players.